welcome back to Golf Training Hacks. Functional mobility in your hips. What do I mean by functional mobility? Hips need to be mobile, but they also need to be stable, especially in a sport environment. Because when you're talking about sports movements, you're putting force into joint positions and range of motion. Now, if those joints aren't stable, when you put force into them, you're at an injury risk, but you also can't create as much power and speed in a sport movement like the golf swing. Now, golf, like many other sports, is played on one leg at a time. And that requires a certain kind of stability because we're really putting force into the golf swing one leg at a time. On your backswing, you're driving into the ground and your hips are going backwards. But on your downswing and through impact, there's a lot of rotational force coming into those hips. So on the downswing and into impact, this front side hip is driving forcefully into the ground, it's controlling rotation, and it's driving backwards. Now, if your hips aren't functionally mobile, meaning strong and stable, you're going to be at risk for doing a lot of the errors that we really try to avoid. To control all these rotational forces while your hips are rotating, extending backwards, and driving force into the ground, and trying to resist lateral sway, standing up at impact, losing your spine angles, or losing your hip position, that's asking a lot of your hips. So your hips need to be functionally mobile. That means they have to be strong and stable. Now, in this video, we're going to work on improving the functional mobility in your hips. So let's get started. A lateral lunge is a great way to improve hip strength. So when you do a lateral lunge, you have to get pretty wide. And of course, if you're too close together, it's really hard to lunge. So you have to get wide. The other thing about a lateral lunge is your knees are not going forward. Your hips are going backward. So it's actually working that hip hinge position that we're always talking about. So a lateral lunge, again, your knees are not shooting forward. My hips are going backwards as I'm moving this way. So a lateral lunge to the right. And you're going to go down as far as your capabilities are. So if that's all you can do, that's fine. From the side, remember your hips are going back. Great way to improve lateral strength in your hips. A more advanced version of a lateral lunge would be to add a step. So I lateral lunge this way, and then I step that way. Lateral lunge this way. That's a great way to get some lateral hip strength. In this video, I'll show you how to do a cross-under lunge. Now, a cross-under lunge is a great way to get lateral hip strength. To do a cross-under lunge, you take one leg and you're going to laterally bring it behind the other, and then you dip down. When you're doing these, you want to make sure that you're going as laterally as you can. And as with all the exercises we talk about, if you can't get all the way down, that's fine. Now I'll show it to you from the side. This leg goes laterally across. I'm going to do one from the front again, only this time I want you to pay attention to my foot. The foot on the planted leg. As I come across the back, this foot stays in the same spot. I'm not turning it out or turning it in. The foot is pointed straight to you. I don't change my foot position as I go back. I drop down and up. The foot stays straight. Cross-under lunge, great way to get some lateral hip strength. So if you found that helpful, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We'd really appreciate it. And don't forget to check out other videos on the channel to help you improve your movement quality and keep that youthful fluid swing while staying injury-free.